What is up, YouTube? This is your boy Ligo, one half of Enduro. Uh, 30 minutes late start. 5 minutes late start, but I'm here, and this is basically a live breakdown of a one-on-one. Mostly think of it as the after party, like we had with a certain after one-on-one before. So this time we're gonna talk about a one-on-one that I had with OJ of Player Essence, and my thoughts about the debate. In the true sense of the word, was a debate, as this thing was. We had, like I said, we had a talking, but you know what? Like I said, to be fair, I want to set up everything. So first of all, I hope the question app is working this time. If not, hopefully somebody could, like I said, last time what we did was send questions to the live event page or the YouTube page, and I'll keep a click on looking at those. But I hope the question app is open this time, so I should have no problems. Look like it's running. That's what happened last time. But anyway, I want to just set this up and go from this point of view. And I basically tagged when I shared this thing about 2 hours ago. So you get a prompt too. You might be at work, whatever, but I also shared a tag with Play Essence to check this out. Testing it out. You know what? Yeah, thank you. It looks like it's coming through. I'm seeing it. So thanks a lot for the test out. So it looked like it's working on both sides. So hopefully this does work through. So I want to, like I said, give my thoughts about what's going on in this, like I said, this one-on-one that we had. And hopefully anybody who's listening to this later and talk about this debate. So setting this up. Last week it was supposed to be, as you can see in the description at the beginning, there's supposed to be a response video to something that OG put up, talking about how to, basically he's trying to say how to woo the average gamer onto that Nintendo needs to do to woo the average gamer onto Nintendo's products. Basically, not the Wii U, but onto Nintendo's products, which is he was mostly going towards. He was also responding to something from, I think it was My Nintendo. I can't 100% them because I'm trying to keep lag on this because I have my sister playing Smash Brothers online, so I'm trying to keep the lag down on everything. But so we had that, and I was gonna do a quick cast video and then respond and just leave it as is. He saw the cast going up. He wanted to respond. Well, he wanted to talk, or he wanted to respond. So I said, okay, no problem. It's been a while trying to get a one-on-one with him, and he wanted to attempt this, so I accepted it. Now, this was an impromptu talking between me and him on both sides. Nobody knows what's going to go with this, so it wasn't like he had something going on and I had something going on. No, we didn't have this planned out. It was last minute come together. What's going on with this? So I hate that. I do that. So to set this up, that's what I set up for the debate. Now, also, I'll be 100%. Like I said, I want to be as objective as I can about my my review and set things up to be as fair as I can as well too. Now, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong on this, but to my knowledge, I don't think I ever see him say that he went to journalist school or nothing like that. I mean, for instance, he has his own website. YouTube is his portal to his website, as if you're on Google Plus or anything. Playeressence.com. He does his videos on YouTube, and you got to go check out his website. Some of these stuff that I've seen, but I'm not gonna be pejorative about it. Like I said, he talks about issues in the gaming community. He's a Nintendo fan, but he's a gamer to all. And like I said, I don't know if he has a journalism degree in journalism or his accreditation, I should say. Now, to be as fair as that, neither do I have as the same thing as a programmer or nothing. I basically was not self-taught. It's kind of a little self-taught, but got people when I got to go to certain studios and I asked questions. I also don't have my degree is in architectural technology and architect itself. That's what my associate's and bachelor's degrees in. That's what I have. Now, I was taken underneath the wing of somebody who taught me how to do. I was been doing music from since I was young, and then thanks to somebody who gave me the opportunity to do music, he taught me certain things about music other than my teachers, of course, in high school and stuff like that. Sorry about the pause right there, but yeah, he taught the person who gave me the chance to make my company started. He taught me certain things about engineering and how to make the best sound, how to produce sounds, how to produce music, how to do everything basically virtually on your own, because he was a let's quote unquote a beat maker. He was a producer. He took a lot of he made a lot of music and gave it to a lot of hip hop, reggae stars, and mostly in the West, but also gave a lot to some Europeans, whatever. So under his wing, I set up my company, and also with that, he taught me how to do sound engineering. So I learned through his aspects. Then when the company was about 4 years along, we with some contacts, of course, that I've done with animation and everything else, I got an opportunity to do some music for video games. And with that said, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I got to go into these meetings, some of these meetings at EA and Ubisoft and Platinum and all these other stuff, to talk to these people and chit chat and talk and get things straightened out. And in my curiosity, when I was around EA and everything, I met a couple people and I was asking them, hey, how do they do this and how they do that? Long story short, they taught me how to do programming and coding and everything else in that regard. So, and of course, it took me a while. I didn't get it off the bat. It took me about at least 2 years to get certain things straight. So a best example of how I know about certain things is, of course, is the one-on-one with Salim, as he asks questions about coding with the Java, Unity, Sharp, C++, C++, stuff like that. I don't have a certification in those things. So I'm trying to get, like I say, so I'm giving you right now a basis of I don't have a degree in these stuff, even though I legitimately have done these stuff over and over again. Now, again, I don't know. I know Francis has gone to, or OJ has gone to EA, and he's talked to people and interviewed people. I've seen him interview Shane, who used to be a part of Games Large, Michael Proctor, and other people. So he went out there and honed his skills and stuff like that. So so basically I set the basis between the two of us as being as that regard. Now, in this video, in this debate, now certain things happen, and I will set up something about this debate. Now, Francis, I basically just call him Francis. He's called OJ, but I just call him Francis. Francis set up certain things in this, brought some stuff to the debate, and then said some stuff that's very intriguing. And so with that, I'll be honest. I'll do the good and then talk about everything else that I think there was problems with. Now, give me 1 second here. Let me make sure I have. This is going to be, yep, okay, that's straight. And that's straight, because also at the end, I'm going to have to do certain, you're going to hear the mouse click a lot, because I'm going to do some emails and stuff that I have there too. So to set this up, like I said, I also sent I took the debate, and in the description box below, you should be able to see, excuse me, of this video. On the video below, there are the links to the debate on my channel, and there's a debate link to OJ's to playeressence channel, the same debate on the channel. So because we're also gonna look at the fan base and see certain things as well too. I took that debate, sent it off to certain to my colleagues and stuff, and they basically watched it, emailed me back, and very interesting responses coming. So let's go with. So with that said, let's go with of course, gotta love the internet. All right, so let's go with something that I shared. I had a podcast with other people on the channel, of course, giving their thoughts of what happened in the debate. Now you can check it out on our channel. I kept it as my thoughts out of it as much as I can because I want to put my thoughts here, so I don't give people time to watch the podcast, listen to what it was, how things work out. Now, one thing that stand out at that same podcast at that time was he was saying that Francis did put in that commented saying, you know, LOL. Apparently, some Nintendo fans can't handle that. I say Nintendo should change a few things up in order to sell more systems. Or if I said Nintendo should make better online features, system features, some Nintendo fans get real upset. Most people are logical and understand Nintendo needs to change, but nothing I've said is really that bad. And based on the amount of new subs I've been getting, mainly Nintendo fans, I see no issues in what I've said. And that's basically, and that's where he put that quote on that video when he was talking about stuff. So that will come back later on. Of course, there's an issue in there I have to bring up, but I'll back later on. But let's go to what a lot of stuff Francis was saying in the video. Now, he is right that Francis, he brought up stuff that you can see in that video I agree upon. I have no problem with the on-screen notification. I agree with him there. I have no problem if they implement a party chat or a voice chat. I agree with him there. Those little simple applications, and I asked him the question about, well, if it was a service, would you pay for it? And he gave a price point. So I mean, we digged in, and he gave a price point. I think $30. He said, and nothing's wrong with that as well too. Again, I have no arguments with that. Those were a lot of people. A lot of people want those added to their systems, and that's all good. I agree with Francis on that point that should Nintendo should change certain things on that. And also, even though I did not bring it up, I'm also agreeing that even he didn't have brought it up, but like I said, I've pointed out before, I think that if you have the 3DS and the Wii U, a cross-buy option for a lot of stuff should happen. If you bought it for the Wii U, it should get the system to a point where they can implement it. That if you bought Zelda, like the last Direct, we had a lot of Super Nintendo games now is going to be on a virtual console for the 3DS. Yeah, if you bought it on the No, I've not gotten into getting special differences, of course. I mean, because they had to do a lot of stuff differently to the Wii U that you could play it on your gamepad and you could, freeze, basically do the whole pixel perfect and also pause the game and save points and all that stuff. If you have to buy for the new system, which is no problem, because once you do it for the new system, you have to go to a lot of contract negotiations once again. But I'm saying if the two systems are, you see, like the next home system has a handheld, and it has next home system and the next handheld are talking to each other more better than what we have right now. That if I buy the game on the home console and it could easily be a virtual console on the handheld. You should have the option to just download and play it, or the exact same thing. If they need to add no new features, if they have added new if they have not added new features, then it should carry over from the Wii U to the next or the 3DS to the next consoles, of course. But it should come together that people, you bought it, just give that as a little customer service, as saying, you bought the game, makes no sense to buy it over and over again. Even though, like they said, you could still buy. You didn't have to buy your games over again from the Wii U, only if you wanted to use the gamepad. If you didn't want to use gamepad and you still wanted the big screen experience, all you had to do was basically go in Wii mode and Wii mode and play the game. And I've done that for several games because I was not going to buy it over for the gamepad. But that's basically a choice. So again, that's something I have no disagreement with. And I hope that people understand. That's a thing I could talk about. Next thing will be what Nintendo needs to do is also have a closer release date to certain things, because of the internet that we have today, that everybody's spoil things, want to do things, want to be, and if things get changed for regions, that's the next topic for another day. But regions that, gamers are getting more gripe here and gripe here for certain things. Oh, you changed it for this region, but you changed it for this region. It's because of cultures. But again, I've said that before, but I won't bog down the topic here. But the closer the release date, so people won't get so antsy. That'll be a better thing. Also, need to do as well. So his way of thinking of making the system better in that regard, and the online chat and on notification, screen notification, and that you could have a quick notification to know people what's going on in the game system. And it should be, now it's kind of funny though, I would say it needs to be Nintendo have an open system, that because you can't have online chat depending if the game developer takes the chance to use it. That's something that a lot of people don't understand, but it is there. The Call of Duty series uses it. Like I said, Bayonetta has the online on-screen notification. So it was an open source, so they gave the options to developers to say, if you want to use it, use it. Some took advantage of it, some didn't. So that's the setup. But if that's the case, then I want Nintendo to, make this a system rule, so everybody follows this rule. So it'd be, and Nintendo themselves, of course, so they could follow this rule, of course, and make it that that every game has the same rules to set up. Because it's funny that everybody wanted the freedom, they gave you the freedom, but now the customers are saying, the fans are saying, well, we want rules. So it's back and forth. But I digress. That's something that, like I said, I agree with him on. That needs to happen. Now, but we're going to start talking about some of the things I think he has missed wrong. Okay, just give me a second. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to clear the queue of in case anything goes through this. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that he said that was kind of a little suspect. And some of these stuff I will timestamp. So again, you could go, the link for the podcast is on, for the 101 is in the description box on my channel, of course, on his channel, because that's a part I'm going to talk about too. So now the first thing we talked about was the hard drive situation. Now, even though the Wii U has a flash drive, most of the things I could said, I let Francis talk. Let me preface this up too. This was in a true sense of a debate. There was no really arguing, super bad back and forth. Really, it was just I told many people, if you have a one-on-one on me, I will let you talk. I won't try to cut you off. I won't do that, because it is to me to present stuff, and not in most cases I ain't gonna correct you, because I want the people who are listening to listen what you truly said, what you fully said, so they could say, okay, wow, that's something. Or if I say something, wow, that's something. That's something. So in its true sense, this was a debate. So with that said, the first, like I said, we're going to the flash hard drive, the flash, the flash memory, the 32 gigs. Now he brought up the point that, yeah, if you bought certain games, yes, like Xenoblade Chronicle X, Bayonetta stuff, most of those that would take up most of the drive, the flash memory, to play, to play most of your for your games. And he is correct on that. He is 100% correct on that. But I stated that Reggie said at the beginning of the system life that if you want, because technology gets cheaper and cheaper over basically months, that you can go and that you could go. He basically said you could go buy a hard drive and hook it up to your Wii U, because if they put a hard drive, which in the system, then it will be basically, it become obsolete very quickly. So with that regard, you have the option as a consumer, because most of his arguments was it was not, Nintendo is not, it's kind of not consumer based. They're not treating their consumers right, or not taking their, how should I say, taking their grievances or ideas, or we are consumers, you should be doing stuff for us. And that's the next point I'll get into a little bit later on. So that's was most of his arguments. Now, to me, when somebody give me the option to buy something way better, way cheaper, and the major option way better, I think that goes to what he's saying, but he didn't see that. And I was like, wow, well, because I bought me a 2 terabyte hard drive for my Wii U for $60. Now, I put some games digital. There's a video I just released that came out Tuesday about that I have on my channel that shows off the Wii U collection, that 3/4 of the Wii U collection that we have. And you could see in that video, I had stuff that was digital, I had stuff that was physical copy, and I doubled it because I wanted to give, if I see something's good, I want to, if I see somebody doing good, I want to reward them that they did something good. Now, in that regard of the physical, like I said, with the hard drive, he was saying that, well, those games, third parties wanted a bigger hard drive for, for their games. Now, I would always say this, and that's mostly some of the arguments if you listen to the debate. I'm not gonna capitulate to third parties. No. After what third parties have done to Nintendo over and over and over and over again, and if you are new to my channel, I've said so much time how all these contracts got broken by third parties over and over again from 66th generation. You're not going to really, it's kind of weird for me to go back and say, yeah, I'm gonna do exactly what you want to get your stuff from me. Just like how EA tried to say, well, if you want our games on your platform, you got to advertise for us. No. Without our platform, you can't play the game. So why would I advertise for you if you don't even want to give us special credence to our platform? That to me is kind of crazy. And I'm happy that they turned that down, because that's just nonsense. But the third parties, because he was saying that once you get the flash drive fill, that you cannot oh yes, that you could feel that you have that you have to delete games and do stuff. Well, yeah, you have to delete games, but basically, if you listen to the video, people are doing that right now. They have to delete their games off the Xbox One and PlayStation because most of that 500 gigabyte hard drive, of course, you're running the OS, and most of these games that the third parties put on these consoles are very huge, 60, 70, 90 gig games. And that does not even include the DLCs, the patches, all that stuff. See, Nintendo has something called does do two things that I admire them for. They do a compression on their data and clean up most of they make sure that their coding is very on point and then it's very clean. And most of their games, when they're doing that, most of the games, even some that are big, are basically mind blowing. Like a game like Xenoblade Chronicles is very large, very big. You do many things: mechs, fighting, searching, jumping, all kind of crazy stuff. You can do in this game, battle online, everything, and the world is so vast and big. But there are games that are less in size, that's double or triple the data for that same game. So Nintendo showed people that, hey, we do things better than other people, which is what their first parties, everybody knows Nintendo for the first party. And that showed you that when you take your time and make the game, and it's the next point that's going to come up later on, from the ground up, you can make a lot of run the game smoothly, less glitches, have no problem. And you could compress your data to run efficiently on any console. You can happen because some consoles have done some. I've seen other developers and studios and everything do the exact same thing. But in that regard, remember on the other consoles, most of their games are installs. If you buy the physical game, you have to come home and install a game. So while that's what you have to do on a PlayStation and Xbox One, I could buy Splatoon at Walmart or GameStop or whatever, or Pokken Tournament, come home, put it in my Wii U, and play the game instantly. There's a little update that comes up. That update is to make sure that you don't have not make also one not really in that regard, but make sure you don't have a pirated copy of the game, because you can skip that option and still play the game. So whenever you buy something physical, it works in the Wii U instantly. Now others, you have to come home, put it in as a key, and install the game. Now they have the whole, you could play certain amounts of the game while the game is booting up, whatever. You know what? Sometimes that causes crashes on drives, and Sony have complaints about this, and Xbox have complaints about this. But I have not seen no complaints that much to regard of I put in my game and it works. So if I bought a physical game and I put it in and it works, then that means I don't need to install. In other words, that cuts that argument down to nothing, because I don't need to install none of my physical games. That's one of the points I think he got wrong, and I was trying to point out. The company gave you the option to get you, so you could use your best option to buy whatever you want to put to the hard drive, to put to the Wii U, and you do not have to install none of your games. I think that's very consumer based. That's what consumers would I would think would love. But this is the gaming industry where a lot of things, that's crazy when people buy broken games. I still don't understand that, but that's not a part of this argument. But that's one of the things that he brought up. And that's one of the things I should say we brought up at the beginning about the hard drive. Now, this topic I'll have to do a video by itself, and and I have to, because a lot of people's been mute about it. But around, let me see, timestamp, I should say about 9 minutes into I was talking about the profits. and with profits, and Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft. Now, put a timestamp here that I'll once I watch this this video over again, I'll put a timestamp here for anybody listening, and I would address this maybe a week or 2 weeks from now, because this subject needs a broader talking about. But I talked about the profits. Now, the slim down version of that, the profits, I should say, is Nintendo has a lot of first party games. They are the developing studio. That's what they are. They are the gaming company through and through. They make their own games. That's what they stand on. And the Wii U, even though it's not selling, it's the third place console, it has more profits than the others. Why? Because of the software library. That's why. And the software library of each game that's sold has a profit margin. See, they get 80% to 80 to 100%. If you buy the game digital, that's why I say I speak with my wallet. That's one of the hashtags I have. And what I talked about, I'm gonna give people, how should I say, that, you know, like I said a little bit before, that I bought the game physical and I bought the game digital. If I bought the game digital, Nintendo gets 100% of the profits back. Now, if I buy physical, it's 80%. And it breaks down that, you know, they are the publisher, they're the publisher, they're the disc manufacturer, they're the developer. The only thing they have is basically the case, shipping, store costs, and a fraction of the manufacturing of the disc, because they own their own disc technology. So they basically don't have to license or ask anybody to do it for them. They make their sales themselves. So their profit margin for their games are the highest as a constant, not because Xbox have first party games too. Like if you buy Halo 5 digitally, yeah, that's 100%. But there are not many games that fills up that spot. Neither have Sony. If you're gonna buy Ratchet & Clank or Uncharted 100% digitally, then they get 100%. But every game that sells on those two systems are more the third parties, where all they get in is basically the licensing fees for the console. And in regards of Sony, they get a little you could say a little discount, because they are part of the Blu-ray Association. You know, Sony, LG, Apple is a whole conglomerate of companies that are part of the Blu-ray Association. So the software, so in other words, again, make it even simpler, like even though you sell 10 million at a lower percentage, if you sell 5 million at a way higher percentage, so you said 10 million at 10% and you sell 5 million at 40%, which one, who else is gonna 80%, who's gonna make the most money? The person who sold less but have a higher profit margin. That's what I was going to explain. But I didn't get into too much detail because I wanted to keep it going. So again, time stamping here, I will get back to this issue 100% and do the whole breakdown, like I'm doing that kind of like right now, but do a breakdown of how a $60 game gets sent to the publisher, the manufacturer, all this stuff. Okay, it needs to be talked, and I talk about it, and I want to just end it as well too. So that is one thing I want to. I would go in greater detail, but remember, the Wii U. Everybody, you know, the Wii U is not selling at a loss. You got to remember that, and also the software is what makes the money. Which again, Nintendo provides their own software on their platform. That is why you buy a Nintendo console, to play Nintendo games. Third party is like a second down. Nothing really to be super talked about in a way. If I'm gonna buy a game, if I'm buying PlayStation, as this, okay, and this is opinion right here. This part is opinion. If I'm gonna buy a PlayStation game, if I want to buy a PlayStation 4, I want PlayStation games. If I want to buy Xbox One, I want Xbox One games. I want a plethora of them, so I feel vindicated to buy the console. Again, this is an opinion piece. This part right here is opinion, and that's what I'm talking about. If I don't see what those consoles provide in games, then I'm not gonna buy the console. As i.e., I have been buying most. If I buy third-party games, I buy it through PC because I have the PC for it. So you buy a Nintendo home console for Nintendo games, point blank, period. If you want, and I would think you should do the exact same thing for Sony and Microsoft. Some people don't see that way. Again, that's an opinionated point right there, but I think that's what drives the market, but you still buy the console for what they provided. So, and again, the profit margin on those consoles on the Nintendo software is very well. And also, I'll point out here, I've said it in a video before, they have the biggest library of games on this console. You have first party, second party, third party, indie. You have you have backwards capability. If you have a Wii U, if you have a Wii, you can play any game that's Wii, you can put it on the console. And also you have virtual console, which is Nintendo games and also retro games. The retro games, you get a certain amount of profit, but if it's a Nintendo game like original Mario, Super Metroid, they get 100% profits there as well too. All that combined is what I'm talking about. So people need to understand that. All that is software, and the only way you can play it is on the Wii U. So that's why I talk about the profits. All that combined makes big profits for the company, while the others don't have that. Because don't have that set at all. So they don't have the outright first party to make that selling. But again, that's a point that I'll reissue it again and be more stronger on later on. So he brought up a point about the whole, Reggie said they're working on the next home console. And I basically talked to him and said right there, yeah, he said he's working on the next home console, but he never said that was the NX. I never heard Reggie said that the next home console is NX. Now, once again, I don't know what it is. I never claimed to know what it is. I don't. Those were words said by the late Iwata. I don't know what an NX is, and technically speaking, opinion again right here. I really don't care what the NX is. As long as it plays games, that's all I care about. But I digress. But I'm just proving on the point that I prove that point in there that yeah, you shouldn't. He didn't say that, so you should not use that. No. He also brought up a point that a lot of people have been using. I think a lot of people go down this track. At about marker 38 minutes, he was talking about, bringing up points that Nintendo system have been selling less and less each successive generation. It's kind of funny, but so has PlayStation. I never heard any video gamers or YouTubers bring that point up, because PlayStation 2 sold over 155 million, but PlayStation 3 sold around 80. Well, around, I mean, the official totals, but around 90 million. And I don't think the PlayStation 4 going to sell 90 million as well either in the stretch of his console. But nobody brings that up. It's funny how that one works that way. So that's a point that always stuns me. But it's weird how people bring that argument up, but don't think of, again, don't call the others to task about it. Now, there's a point that and the next point that he brought up, but I think I want to push that back a little bit. I have, like I said, I have marker notes and stuff. I want to push back because that's like the ultimate thing that I want to hit on as like an ender before I go into some of the things. So one of the other things that that he brought up that was kind of weird to me was He said that's why they're doing the amiibos. That's why they're doing the universal. Now, again, I've been one of my company for going next year will be the 15-year anniversary of one of my company. And like I said, I pay employees. I travel around the world. I do certain things. I think Player Essence is basically Player Essence himself. I don't know if he has any. I don't have any extra employees really to understand the business climate where you have to go against taxes and trade, all kind of stuff, and money exchanges, and like I said, you have. And I know for sure he what he deals with money can never touch what I deal with money when it comes to millions of dollars and stuff like that. So two different platform, two different structure of business sense. But like I said, he talked about certain stuff about business. Now, one of the business thing that he brought up was, sorry, one of the things he brought up about the business was saying that, because like I said, Nintendo is doing all this stuff now, the amiibos, and I want to point this out. Of the second, when it comes to the half marker of the half year report from the IR pages of Nintendo. A lot of people say that Amiibo is the only thing that's keeping Nintendo running. At that point, Amiibos was about 22 million, and the manufacturing cost is about $4 to $6, depending on what's going on with that. $22 million basically equates to $110 million. But if you look at the profits on the IR pages, they're making 400. They're making way beyond that. So, and of course, it's just like how Mario Maker is making money. He makes just as much, the same amount of money with less, because of the profit margin, because of stuff like that. The Amiibos is a constant revenue stream, of course, but it's not the main line of course, it's not the main line of revenue for the Wii U. And also, if you think about it, you have to count that revenue stream into the profitability of the Wii U, because without that thing, the Wii, remember, that was the NCF chip for the Wii U was from the get-go. 3DS came later on. So the Amiibos, basically, other than figurines and people use it, really, you have to apply that profit to the Wii U as well. But again, that's just adding to that topic I just brought up a while ago. So he talked about how they do Universal, they're doing all these they're doing all this Universal Parks and the Amiibos. They changed it, but he said at this point though that they're doing this because the Wii U is not selling that great. This is the point where I think business is not. He don't understand certain things of business. When you messing with a multi-billion-dollar company, if you're gonna do contracts with people, and again, doing contracts, you're not gonna do it in one day, no 2, no 3, not a year, not 2 years. If one multi-billion company is doing something with another multi-billion or another multi-million company, you're going to go through a lot of lawyer processes. You're going to go through a lot of writing and contracts that might take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even 10 years. Right now, when they're doing the prototype for the next home console, they're making sure that the chipsets, the graphics card, the memory, the motherboard, all the stuff that's going to be in that console, that's going to be mass produced for that console, that yields a high end, that it won't have a lot of failure rate. They have to do contracts with those people, and they have to do it over. They have to make sure that the contract is good on this side. That, hey, if this happens, well, what you gonna do for us? If this happens, we'll take this responsibility. All that is like minutiae, small details, but a lot of lawyers is involved, and it doesn't happen at a snap of no finger. because the NFC gamepad had the chip before everybody knows about the amiibo thing. We know it was going to be figurine based. Come on, but they was already in the works. Those contracts already been signed a while back to get things straightened and then get the process together. So all the stuff that he said, there was not reactionary. It was planned before the Wii U was basically set up to go. So he was wrong on that point. Because again, it's not that he was wrong of being like wrong and strong. He was just wrong and naive that he doesn't understand how certain businesses do certain things. And I'm not gonna say I'm not faulting for that. It's just that's what other people need to understand. You don't do these big contracts and snap a no finger. So that's a tale that he needs to is the you know the because the Wii U is falling apart, as you know most people would think. The Amiibos is not a reactionary thing. Universal Studios is not a reactionary thing. Iwata was talking about doing theme parks and everything like that back in 2006. And you could go back to some of the GDC talk, like interviews that he talked about it. So we talking about, oh, we might do some stuff with animation, we might do stuff with things. They have ideas. They just want to make sure that they have control over their IPs, because most of Nintendo's power is in their IPs. In the 90s, they saw what the IPs can do, and they also saw how IP can be, their brand name can be hurt if they just willy-nilly give the IPs out to certain people and they mess it up. Zelda CDI, anybody? Mario the movie, anybody? So they want to be careful with their IPs. That's their hallmark, really. That's their bread and butter. Their brand name. Even though a lot of kids might be saying stuff, you could still put any game today, people will still know who's Mario because he's iconic. Who's Donkey Kong? Because he's iconic. Who's Zelda? They might get that mixed up, Zelda and Link. Because they're gonna say, "Oh, that's Zelda." No, he's Link. But the name is Zelda. No, he's Link. Whatever. You know, they'll do that. Or same thing with Samus and Samus Aran and there's a Metroid and stuff like that. But people recognize, even though the young kids they didn't know who Mario is. They know who those stuff, and that's why they want to make sure that their brand name is together. So also I point out the whole thing about a dead console, but again, that's to telling the point is irrelevant, because all these games are coming out on these dead console. I pointed that out with the Direct. These 7 games coming out on the dead console, it's gonna make profits for the company, major profits for the company again. And you know, to dip back a little bit on the profits thing, remember he acknowledged this. I acknowledged this too as well. That remember, what also helped with the profits is Nintendo budgets their game very well. That if they could turn a $20 million game, which was Mario Kart Wii, into a over $2 billion in straight profits, that's crazy. Same thing with a game that a lot of people deadpan and say wasn't going to work. Amiibo home designs for the 3DS. A lot of people didn't like it. People say, "Oh, this is not the Amiibo game. This is not the Animal Crossing game that we want." But they turned a $5 million project into $120 million project by selling almost 3 million of the game. People bought it. And that's one of the arguments I wish I could have got into. I kind of did. I kind of did, which was the whole preference thing. And he was like, well, there's a drought. And I've proven this point more and more, and he acknowledged it. So he acknowledged it in the podcast, in the debate. You have, everybody always talk about drought because of preference. And I always said that. It always preference. People right now went out and bought the Division. Division does not appeal to me. Doesn't mean that it didn't come out, but I'm not gonna buy something that I don't like, or it doesn't appeal to me. Not liking, I hate the game. It's just that it doesn't make me feel to go buy the game, and that's where the droughts always happen. It's preference. You cannot say, because I told him you can't say that they're not games coming out, But if you don't like a RPG, if you are RPG fans, yes, there's droughts on the Wii U. If you are a fighter fan, yes, there's droughts on the Wii U. I'm not denying that, but you can't say there's a drought because there's no games coming out, because there were games coming out constantly. They released 8 games last year on the Wii U. Did everybody buy all those games on the Wii U? If for a 12-month period, that's not bad for a rate of solid games coming out. Even though Nintendo also releasing games also for the 3DS, the other platform. But did everybody buy all those games that came out? No, because their taste was not. I did not buy Mario Party 10, but he sold over 1 million. But I didn't buy Mario Party 10 because it didn't appeal to me that much. But I know, again, as I said in my video, my coworkers and her kids and they bought it and they enjoyed it. They already got over 100 hours on this game, so they put hours into this game. Same thing with Amiibo Festival, same thing with Mario Tennis, Ultra Smash. I didn't buy those games, but other people bought them. Now you think those people are gonna buy Xenoblade Chronicles? No. And that's because of preference. And I think a lot of people need to understand that droughts are created because of preference. If it was like 2 months, a month, and like I said, then because if you use that logic, then there's a big drought on the other consoles because I have not bought them because there's no games really that makes me want to buy them because they don't have the first party thing. Like I said, exclusive that made me think I want to buy those consoles. That's flipping the argument over and looking at it a different way. That makes the argument even more minute because I ain't bought the console because they're just a big draw than other consoles. But that's because of my preference. I can't say that they had a draw because they had games coming out constantly for the other consoles as well. So, but again, I got to acknowledge that in the debate, you go check it out. Okay, the debate's in the link description. I mean, in the description down there. I'm sorry, whatever the description. So after this, or anybody who's listening, you go back and check it out and listen to it. So, and as Yayo tested it out for me, if anybody's joining in, the question app is working this time, and I apologize last time for that. So, if anything that you see that you need to ask questions about, you can go ahead and put it in the question app, and I will answer it in a later on in Q&A. I try to see hopefully I can keep it short, but I know how sometimes the question keeps on flowing, so we'll go with that. Now, so let's get into another thing that he was talking about. And once again, he acknowledged this too, which is kind of weird that, well, it's going to be later on because I'm going to show you something I'm going to screen share something and talk about something that also perpetuates why a lot of YouTubers are who they are right now. But he acknowledged about last year, almost every major company because it was going through a drought. I'm sorry, not a drought, a reconstruction, because the economy is kind of fickle, one, and two, everybody is making, everybody took hits. Like the year before, Nintendo took an operational loss. This year so far, they're not taking operational loss. They had to cut back some of their profit forecast, but the operation cost is still well expected. And if they do very well in that regard, they're gonna make a surplus. Which again, it's funny how nobody talks about the surplus, but they're business people. And I chalk that to IGN because they talk about Nintendo financials, but they don't talk about Microsoft and Sony when they have problems of their own. But I digress in that point for later on for what I got to talk about. But he acknowledged that last year that they couldn't take on a lot of people's debt, and nobody would take on a lot of people's debt. Like Capcom, Capcom lost $20 million last year. I would not take on their debt and their losses if I'm a company. And we're seeing Capcom still not learning the lesson, but I can digress again. Sorry, not to be off topic, but they're taking hits right now. And for Nintendo to buy Capcom or Atlas or whatever. They had to take on their debts, and they, like I said, Nintendo also themselves were going on a reconstruction as they open up on the Kyoto office, where they now all the EAD team is mostly all together, and all the software heads and managers of all the second party studios that Nintendo owns are there, and they're talking and having a conversation. And also we have how should I say this? Also with that, and also they have to make sure that they are the only people who are not shutting down studios right now. So the point, he acknowledged that, but he also didn't. But he didn't acknowledge that he think that the gaming industry is doing fine. And again, that's somebody who's not seeing certain things. I don't understand the business sense, because studios have been shutting down left and right. Some of these studios have been around for a long time. Like I said, EA has shut down 11 studios in 10 years. And then got Lionhead Studios, Blue Studios, Play. I mean, there's so many studios that are being shut down. Sony has shut down a couple of studios, not a couple, a lot of studios as well. And that goes to a point that I brought up, and I'll have to answer that in his own video as well too. Sorry for doing that. Timestamp this one again too. I'll get back to it. But I did say something factually wrong in the debate. In the point of, I'll talk about it a little bit, but I can't go into detail because it just be, again, it needs its own long setup. But I was factually wrong in the debate for one thing. Even though in the way I was talking about it, it was with the context, it was right. But I was factually wrong about it. And he asked a question, and I went, man, I did my research, and and you know what, Francis, you made me to do more research, because one of the things that I've said is, if you're gonna do research, do the full thing. And so I did. I went to my contacts and called people and talked some stuff, and yes, and it was about Sony's first party. Now the story is the first party studios they have, but they don't have it in a certain sense of Nintendo's capacity, but they have it, but they don't have what it is though. A lot of the studios that they own are being shut down and are getting smaller and smaller. And they have, and so I will give this on video and go through the whole list of all the first parties they have and see what, because most of the first party that Sony have studios, they're like 4 or 5 people, basically close to an indie team, and they're not creating games. They're just working backup systems for the PlayStation 4 and 3 and everything else. Kind of like how Rare was doing a lot of stuff that I make their own games, but working like avatars and stuff for Microsoft. So I will get to that point and do those videos. So that part I was factually wrong, and I concede to that. I was wrong on that. Unlike most people, if I'm wrong on something, I will say, hey, I was wrong. But he made me go and call some people and do some research and call some, and like I said, I have the next thing to tell people that I have a contract with Sony. So I have contacts that I have, that I could talk to certain people and know what's going on. Of course, I also get the briefings and the IR page and stuff, because my company has a contract with them, and I need to know everything about it so I can make some decisions in the future, of course. All right, sorry about that. I'm basically, sneezing behind the thing. I didn't want to like do it on the mic. So they have again, he pushed me to do something. I said I need to do, and I did. So I was actually wrong about that, and I will get to that. I'll get to that video, and I'll link it back into this spot to say, hey, on this point, I talked about this. This is what I'm gonna do. So. But the next thing that he stated, also, and I try to let him know this. We were talking about how I was trying to get him to talk about how third parties and the developers. There's a reason why, if you've been listening to my channel for a long time, I've said there's a difference between between developers and publishers. The developers want to do certain things, but the publishers don't want to do, because they think of it then a money base. And he goes to a point of, he's saying he wants to be a consumer. You want to be a consumer-based company and all that stuff. Third parties have done the most unconsumer-based stuff, but people still buy them up. But they get a pass on a lot of things, which is kind of weird. They get past a lot of stuff, but nobody brings it up in the games media and talking about certain things. But I mean, they bring it up on YouTube. They bring it up, but it's so small and minute. But they don't bring it up in the big way. How they talk about how he talked about, because, like I said, Capcom, Square Enix, all these game, Bethesda, all these people have done stuff that was not consumer friendly, but not many people go with pick, fork, and knives against these companies. But you say Nintendo is not making the game consumer friendly. They're consumer friendly. Weird. That's the economy of seeing two things, and you're not consistent on certain things. But I was talking about the third parties in regard, and how the developers, like, of course, like Hideki Kamiya, he didn't like Capcom, what Capcom did behind his back of doing Devil May Cry 2 without his without his knowledge, or Shinji Mikami, how they put it again to PlayStation. Now, again, I've said millions of times, I have no problem that the game went to other platforms. I'm not a crazy exclusivist or whatever you want to call it. That, you only bitch because your game went to another console. No, people got it and they enjoy the game. Go right ahead. But if the game was tailored and built from the ground up as a developer, and it got ported without your knowledge, or somebody else ported it and it was a bad port, your name is still attached to that. And he was laughing when I said about Suda 51. He said, well, now when it comes to money, you're gonna do certain things. No. If you did me wrong in a deal and my rep, or should I say, basically my name is defamed because I did a game that I did not do, and I got dragged through the mud. I got bad reviews and and they say, this was glitch written, this was game breaking, it was a bad port, whatever. But my name is still attached to it. I don't don't want to do working with you. I don't want to work with you at all because you drag my name through the mud. I don't care if you're gonna make money. You did me wrong once. Why would I go back and you might do me wrong again? That's one of the reasons why Suda 51 is angry at Ubisoft, because they ported over his game to the PlayStation 3 without his acknowledgement, and the game didn't run smoothly. It had problems, and also it was not built for that setup. So he didn't like that, and I could respect that. Same thing for Hideki Kamiya. They ported certain things. They ported his games, like even Sega. When it was not Hideki's team that ported Bayonetta to the PlayStation 3. It was Sega's team, and they didn't do a really efficient port, and the game had glitches and bugs and just crazy jitters and all kind of stuff. But his name is tagged to it, so he didn't like that. He kind of brought it up in some of the talks where he's talking to Iwata about that. And that's why a lot of the people went. That's why Iwata sent a team of people who could code a game to Platinum Games to make sure that they understand how to code and make this more understand the framework and how to build their games from the ground up for the Wii U. That's what I see. That's why I had the most reverence for Iwata for doing stuff like that. They did it for Hyrule Warriors. They did it for excuse me, they did it for Wars, they did it for Platinum Games, they did it for Atlas, they did it for Way Forward. They do it for these guys to make sure, hey, we want to make sure you got the best experience on programming for a system. Because you know what? Those companies have not done Nintendo bad. Others have. So I'm not going to reach my hand out when you keep on slapping it away. I'm trying to save you, but you keep on slapping away. But when it comes to every time that you're hanging off the ledge now, I must come and pick you up. Nah, it's the name recognition is what I was talking about, and I think you didn't get that. I could be wrong, but you're not gonna do money if somebody did you wrong. As a company myself, I've done this exact same thing. I'm not like whoa. Oh, yo, like it, man. They're gonna make about $5 million. You go check that out. Yeah, but they did me wrong last time. I lost $10 million last time I worked with that person. Yeah, but you can make more money. No, fool me once. Sorry, when you got that much money on the line, I'm not gonna waste that money again. I was fool enough to do it in the first place. So sorry, and that's the point I always bring up. All the third parties keep on breaking contracts, left over right, right over left. And you could talk, and you don't have to be Nintendo. Just look at the publishing developers. Iga with Konami. Same thing with you know the guy from Metal Gear Solid. My mind's a blank right now. I'm focusing on the debate more than whatever. But Kojima. Sorry, how Kojima and Konami going back and went back and forth. How that worked out. Kenji Inafune with Capcom. A lot of the major third-party publishers that made their name on the Nintendo NES console, they're not with the same publishing company as they were now. But Shigeru Miyamoto is, Tezuya is, Inuma is, Koji Kondo is. All these companies, all these people are still with Nintendo. So that's a contrast right there that people can't argue about. But it's funny that nobody brings that up as well. And that's the point I was talking about him with that whole the developers have a problem. Developers have a problem with the publishers. They have no problem with Nintendo doing games like that. And most of the time, when you hear people who are devs who say negative stuff, is because they wanted to do lazy ports. One, two, they didn't want to take the time to build the game from the ground up. Three, most of the time, it's people who are not really a part of the dev team, who don't know how to develop games. They're just PR people. Because one of the times we talked about was the whole that you should have an 86 to port the games, whatever. Now, I've said this millions of times. People always think having a simplified, it is cool to have a simplified system, but let's put it this way. Go to a neighborhood, and since I'm an architect, go to a neighborhood where it has all the cookie cutter houses. Yeah, they simplify things. You got cookie cutter. Look there, look there, look there. But they have some of those houses, I could tell you from experience, have the most problems because they just rush the job. They know that some of these people just know it by heart and just, okay, foundation, square, pour, blah, 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 and keep on going and whatever. But if you go to a custom house, attention to detail have to be made. If you go to the neighborhoods with custom, all the houses are different. They look different. They look way better, and they have less like foundational problems and this and that and whatever. And that's the way I look at the x86 system. The power arm, Nintendo made it made it. If you're gonna develop for a system, which is not that hard to develop for, as I said before, the hardest to port for, yes. The cheapest to develop for, that's the Wii U. The cheapest cost to develop a game is for the Wii U. If you build a game from the ground up on that Wii U console, you have less bugs, less problems, less glitches, less everything. Is there a perfect game? No, as you know my stance. But that's if you make it simple that these developers are getting lazier and lazier and lazier. Then what you want? What do you want? They're gonna get lazy, and then you put an x86 in the Wii U system. You think you think we're gonna get the usual? We're gonna get something that's unique? No, we're gonna get the same cookie cutter game that's on the other consoles. Now he said he and I stated that, you know what? Well, most of those games are bug written and problematic. I don't think I want them on the console because this stuff is kind of a waste of time because I think most Nintendo fans won't buy them. But he said, well, it needs to be there because you need to have the library and stuff. And the next point I'll point out, I didn't say it on the debate, but I'll point out this. Do Nintendo need third parties to have a video library? Yes. Do Nintendo needs third parties to make profits? No. It's two different things. They have been chugging along so far without making billions and billions of dollars. And nobody's, they've been doing quite well for the last 30 years in gaming. even though the popularity of people buying their consoles is going down and down and down. Now, talking about, like I said, going back to the topic of saying that you know they're going to a certain spot of, how should I say, it's like the x86 system. I asked them a question: do you want it to, which one is most important, optimization or power? Because you say you want it to be a more powerful system. Granted, the next home console is gonna be more powerful than the Wii U. Duh. It's granted. Now, if there's the next generation 9 starts, I'm competing, and again, and let me put this here. Here's a quote. Nintendo said, not Nintendo, Iwata, Shigeru Miyamoto, and Reggie did interviews, said that even though they are competing platforms or everything, they're not. And I repeat, they said we're not competing against the others because we have something unique that people want to go. That goes back to the whole thing of, why do you buy a Nintendo home console? For Nintendo games. I don't know what else you buy it for. Why do I buy a 3DS? For Nintendo games. That's majority of the library. That's what you buy those consoles for. So they're not. So in that regard, they know that they're not competing with that because they're not going the annual year in software 1 and 2. They know that their quality and product is bar none. Here's something that I would let people know about that too, because the ESRB said the 8th generation is the most game breaking, glitch written generation that they ever seen. The ESRB, these are people who see all kind of games, and they can't believe, wow, why these games are coming out broken, glitch written, whatever. Nobody's putting in the polishing time. So so Nintendo needs to stand by their brand of being a quality brand name. So having the X80, so I'm sorry, I did it on the video. I disagree with him because optimization is always going to trump power. The best selling games on the consoles, always basically on the consoles, always not the most powerful ones. It's the one that just uses the system the best way. That you know, that's the whole point. Mario Kart Wii, not the most powerful game, but sold a bunch of games. Same thing with, even went back to the PlayStation 1 era and the 64 era. A lot of games sold crazy, even though they were less. Some of them were not powerful driven, or they didn't have the memory. But in that era, but optimization always going to trump power. When you know how to build that thing from the frame up, and you know how to build the game. And I'm sorry for anybody who wants the power thing. That's the power thing. Again, you have Ultimate 3DS. Very simple game. Couldn't run on the PlayStation 4. Was it because the PlayStation 4 didn't have the power? No. It's because the people who developed the game didn't optimize it. The same thing for Street Fighter 4 arcade when it had frame rate drops. The same thing for Assassin's Creed Unity. That game had such crazy problems. That's why the ESRB was saying that this is most game written glitch bugs. Again, does Nintendo have glitches in their games? Of course, no game's perfect, but not to the level of you just walking. And I'm sorry, people out there. Again, if you bought these games and you enjoyed them, again, I'm not bashing that, but like I watched a video today and I have to do a second video about it. I have a video on my channel called the 8th generation, the fall of 8th generation. And I gotta do a part 2 of that because I've seen so many things that's happening. That's like, wow. Gamers, like they at the beginning they were like, oh, we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna do that, but then they let things slide time and time again, and they accept what's going on, but they still want this company to change radical ways. Again, if you're joining right now, if you the online the on screen notification, making sure that the games released closer to the same time. a chat system, all that stuff. Even if you want to, and if you want to have a subscribe to pay for that, I agree with Francis on. No ifs, ands, but I agree with him. I said it in the video. But I'm talking about some of the things that he said wrong that, that I didn't like hammer on him because this was a debate. I mean, in a sense, it was a debate. Like, I let him speak what he had to speak and not kind of be crazy onto that point. Now, I talked about how, and I showed this in the video, and this is the next thing that again shows that the business sense that he didn't know about how the business sense is. I showed him about what Sony said about the PlayStation division. You see, the PlayStation division has PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4, PlayStation Now, and basically now with the PlayStation, if VR is going to come out and all that stuff together. But they stated that they're going to lose a lot more money as much as, because of the PlayStation 3. And I stated it and I showed it to him via share screen about that. I showed that to him. And he said, well, what was the date of this? I said it was last year, June. You don't have something any more recent. Well, this is the part about business I think it went over his head once again. You don't find, if you want to find out the majority, you find, okay, let's put it this way. And I always put videos, and I ain't doing it in this one, but I'll put videos out there showing the links of certain things, okay? You go to EA, Capcom, Sony, Sega, Nintendo, Microsoft, show that stuff right there. I've shown that those stuff. And the end of the year is basically tells the forecast for the next year. So all the information is in there. An example, last year when EA made $900 million off of DLC and microtransactions only, that only came out at the end of the year. That didn't come out in the quarterlies. That didn't come out in the halves. It was the end of the year. So what I pointed out was the end of the year, and that's what most businesses do, and that's what I'm trying to do. But he didn't. He wanted something up to date. But you're not gonna get all the. And I said it in the park, and you're not gonna get all the full information. And you'll get pieces and bits, sales trends, how it works out. But at the end of the year, you get all the information that you need. And again, I don't know if that flew over his head or not, but that's a point that I try to make in that podcast as well. Now, excuse me. Now, let's get into the ultimate. There's other things, and to be honest, there's some other videos that Francis put up that I could have asked him questions, but it was 2 hours, and I didn't. He had to take care of his family, and I thank him for coming in, because he has a daughter, and the daughter to take care, and his girlfriend. Our fiance, I don't know. I really don't know, but he has to take care of his family. So he came in. You heard the daughter in the background, and very cute. I'm not gonna say I would never knock your hustle, homie. You do what you have to do, but he took the time out to talk to me. So thank you. I really do, Francis, for doing that. Now, but the major point that comes up though is you said you want Nintendo to be more consumer based, but at the end. Basically, and also in that video, if you go watch it, he answered he gave me a question, and I caught him and said, "But Francis, you kind of answer your question because I'll say this will be a good setup for what I'm gonna do next." But anyway, but basically, this is what happened. Like he said, I want Nintendo to do some stuff for me, as and that goes to the preference thing. You as a mass produced product, you're not gonna get satisfied 100%. That's an impossibility. And as a consumer, I'm sorry, and I always will state this. That's why I say speak with your wallet. You have the ultimate options. You can query for all the options you want. Once allows the company to give you the ultimate option to buy or not buy the thing, you really don't have that much of a complaint. But gamers do not blame themselves. Now, if you buy a product, and if you buy the product and the product doesn't work, then you have a legitimate argument, and they should fix it as a consumer base. Yes, we don't see, but again, we don't see people argue about the broken games. But again, I digress. But if I see that the Nintendo Wii U, I know it was not gonna have third party. It was not gonna be such big third party games. You took that choice, just like I waited back. I never bought. Like I say, I've never bought. The only one console I bought day one was a Wii, but I never bought no console day one. Not even the Wii, not the 3DS, not 3DS XL. No, never did. And I ain't gonna do it for the next generation either. But I waited to make sure to see what can PlayStation and Xbox One provided. They're not bad consoles. They're really great consoles, and then that's the next point I have to point out. Every time you try to hit me on the whole thing about Nintendo, no. When I talk about programming, optimization, how the game market is doing good, I meant for all companies, and I stated it multiple times in that podcast. All companies. Don't try to hit it just Nintendo. That's because I am a Nintendo-centric channel. I understand that, but I'm still saying I want the gaming community, want the gaming industry to be strong, and the only way you could do that is to have each company do their best, and then do their best to what they get. My ultimate statement is: if you're making profits off of your products, you're doing good. If you're making profits off your products, so you could make more products later on, you're doing great. And that's why I want for all three manufacturers. But we've seen how things are going out. Now he said he wanted Nintendo to do certain stuff to please him. Again, he is not the main person. That's what kind of stunned me. Like, there's certain things I want Nintendo to do too, but you know what? If I do that, a lot of people ain't gonna like the console that I want, the perfect console for me. Of course not. I'm not an online multiplayer centric person, so that will basically take away half of the people that he wants on the platform, because I don't play online multiplayer that much. Splatoon, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, to a degree, yes. Splatoon the most, but everything else doesn't intrigue me. I like I said, I could be happy by myself playing my games. Most of my games that you saw when I did my collection are single player games. And that's a point I tried to point out. But again, if I did that, a lot of people will be pissed and be angry of that console. So that's why I agreed with him with the on-screen notifications and all this other stuff. And I agree with him with that, because I can't think selfishly of my stuff, but he said it selfishly that he wanted to do that. Now, he also stated at the end, which is kind of weird. He stated that because I tried to tell him that Microsoft is the Xbox division. Since 2000, the Xbox division has not made money for Microsoft really that much. Okay, they make 1% profit for the company. I've pointed that out since I came on this side of YouTube. The Xbox division is losing a ton of money. And he stated, well, as long as they're making the customers happy, then as long as they stated to make the customers happy, then they should go ahead and do that. Now, basically, he wants a company to make him happy, even though they're losing profits. That's the caveat that blows my mind right there. I was like, wow, okay, you stated that loud and proud. Okay. And I left it as is. I didn't want to go into deeper than that, because, again, if you're losing money, all right. I always say it's a thin line between a lot of things, but wow. Yes, that one really took the cake that he said that, and I was stunned. And that's at the point when I made a proposition to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna send this to my colleagues and I basically what my email with colleagues was like, yo, check this out. This is the podcast. Email me back if you have the time. Let me know what you think about this podcast that I send out. And and I have some of the responses. I have not gotten responses from everybody, but I've got enough to like talk about certain things, so I will do that. But before we go into that now, again, Francis took the video and put the podcast that was on my channel and put it on his channel. Okay, put it on his channel and put the debate up. Now he has over 1,000 views, while I'm like 400 to 500 views, and I'll show you that on screen in a little second. But the point was made also in that debate was, he said these guys on the Xbox and PlayStation argue about over stuff and basically call them, you know, ignorant and stupid for the arguments they're making. And I thought, okay, if you say that, then why would I change if they come to this console? Here's the thing that killed me. People argue that the Wii U is not what they want it to be, all this stuff. And they don't buy the console. And they bash the console. See, I never bashed the Xbox or PlayStation 4. They're just not my cup of tea. But I never bash because I know people out there enjoy them. That's the difference between me, maybe because I own a company and all that stuff, that I know that, you know what? There are when you make a mass-produced product, that's why I have a video on my channel called Preference, people. Because of that, I know it's gonna be to certain people. That's why I said that. So I know people who are enjoying the PlayStation 4. I know people who are enjoying the Xbox One. People enjoying their PCs. Why would I say it's wrong? Oh, you need to have I never told nobody on my channel, point blank. Never told anybody to buy a Wii U or 3DS. Why? It's your money. And I've said this many times. It's your money. You buy what you want to buy, and you love. That's it. And I'm gonna keep on saying it to the end. So I repeat myself. I know people don't like me repeat myself, but I'll repeat myself because some of my simplest things answers the most questions everybody always asks. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Speak with your wallet. You buy what you want to buy. No Nintendo fan should tell a Sony or Xbox fan that their stuff is this or whatever, because you know what, they're not. You're not in their house paying their bills, and y'all are not in my house paying my bills. So I take my time and I buy what I got and enjoy it. But he called them that and called them, you know, ignorant and stupid for, you know, doing arguments and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, okay. So if that's the case, and I said, now I see the viewership is going up, I go to Mount, say, hey, again, the question app is open. If you guys have been listening for a while and you got questions to ask about the debate or anything, like I said, I'll take it and do a little question answer part as well too, after I read some of the emails and stuff. But with that said, so he said that in his video. Now I am going to go to, like I said, he took the video from my channel and put it on his channel, which is cool. At this point right now, he has 1,010 views and, you know, 41 ups and 1 dislike. Okay. Hey, pretty cool. And of course, in the description below, there is a link to the channel, the debate on his channel, and also a link to the debate on my channel in the description. So if you listen to this now or later on, you could go check it out and see what we're talking about. So with that, let's go. So when he talked about, you know, again, these people, whatever. Now, this is basically, and also these the email reflecting to the fan base. So let me now share. Give me a second here. Share the screen, and it should be on there right now. Now I'm on his channel. What he did with when he took the debate and put it there. And of course, Francis has more subscribers than me. All I have, technically speaking, at that point when we were talking, I had 180 subs. I've gone up by at least by 10. You know, I don't know if it's because of that. I've seen some people detracted from his channel, but again, some people might have detracted from my channel. Go to him. I don't know. But now, let's say, so he has, you know, 6,657 subscribers. Like I said, while I have 900 and I'm not sorry, 109, 92, 93. We'll check when we go there. So now, of course, you know, this is my comment I left 3 days ago, and I was trying to be nice to, you know what, I was nice. I was never disrespectful to Francis or OJ. And I basically say, thank you for giving me the time to talk our points. I look at the comment section and I'm looking through your comment section and my comment section and I see a difference, which is what I'm going to point out right now. So now, basically, I'm going to try to go out. And I'm basically going through, you know, as you can see, people have the whole fanboys. The PS is making half the profits as the PS4, not in 2016 or 2015 for that matter. Like I said, I'm not going to like to answer his community, of course. If the software is what makes the profits, then there's still a lot of people putting games, and he talked about it. There's still people putting games on the thing. The Western developers, not as much, and I give him that fact. But PlayStation makes more with the Eastern developers. But again, it is what it is. He comes across as a pure fanboy. Hate all Nintendo fanboys who keep on bitching that EA Activision makes games for the NX, which is kind of weird. I can't. Let me see. I'm reading some of these stuff because some of this stuff is new that popped up. I can't you being a more chill-oriented fan podcast like the juice is loose. Huh? Hey, see, a lot of people don't understand how this became for. Interesting topics. I'm interested in the topics you're discussing, but the negative answer between you two are a bit off-putting. Crowd. I'm getting a lot of. I loving how I get a lot of this guy keep on going through, and I have to give it to him. He have a lot of fans that keeps on going through this stuff, which is cool fandom, man. This guy's comparing Wii U drafts to PlayStation 1 Xbox round. Wow, his argument is based on preference. Wow, yeah. Real Gamer 27. Oh, why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? Real Gamer 27. Sir, I have asked you 2 times to do a one-on-one with me, and you have backed out because in the arguments I try to make towards you, you basically, I was right. But, I've seen some of your videos, and some of your videos are pretty cool, but it is what it is. It is preference, though. See, that's why a lot of gamers don't understand that. So, the droughts on that. So, the Wii U droughts. Again, I clear that topic up. And of course, here's one of our favorite friends, Turner John. All the excuses I've been hearing from people we were failing was really getting under my skin. Here's something though. Turner John, I have a one-on-one on my channel. You could go check it out as well too. He's a person who follows Francis all the way. Now I ain't gonna the whole pure fanboy and calling names out and stuff like that. It is what it is. I don't get into. And like I said, we have people on his page that was talking about some stuff. Oh, well, he asked the question on my channel, so I asked it on his channel. So, it's kind of weird. And like I said, you could go check out end up. Okay, now that's kind of messed up, dude. Yeah, it's in duo, and you had a one-on-one with me, Sir Turner John. But again, you're a fan of playeressence. Nothing's wrong with that. So now let's go to my channel. Now, like I said, I have 194 subs, and I'll say this again: I don't I really don't. It's kind of funny because I was sudden we had a little off channel chat. I don't care for. I don't. I'm okay. I don't care for subs in a certain way of like I need to have a lot of subs to make me feel important. I'm sorry that was, it is what it was, but sorry, no. I like having talking to all the people who come to my podcast. Me and them would never agree 100%. Of course, you can't agree 100%, but we've talked. Some of these guys, Francis, that I've talked to, some of these guys I met in real life. Some of these guys are cool people. Some of these guys, basically I'm talking to employ some of them. So I'm doing something. I mean, real people after a while talking back and forth. I did this channel for fun, not to make money. Cause my thing is not monetized. My thing is not monetized. And like I said, this is all pure enjoyment for me as I run a company and have a regular day job and go back and forth, and it's crazy. But so of course I have 488 views. I have 22 ups, 2 dislikes. And you could go through here and see people brought up, instead of just saying the whole fanboy and these Nintendo fanboys don't know what they're talking about and stuff like you saw, you see people are bringing up issues. Not calling him, a bad name or nothing in that regard. There's about 2. I would not be 100% honest. It's about 2 people that kind of said some stuff, but you can't control everybody, right? But some of these people were happy that the podcast happened in the first place. And you could go and see people talked about the issues, and most of the people like nice chat because we were respectful. And like the other guy was saying on the channel, like getting other podcasters that was, I thought it was very calm. We didn't call nobody. We didn't call each other names. We didn't argue. We didn't shout each other down. We didn't argue each other down. We just said, talked and said what it is. So you could go through here and see how people just basically talked about, stuff that I'm bringing up right now. They brought up points. And some of the people who didn't say much stuff basically just had, and I had a couple of haters out there. I got to respond to one. Dude, Video Game Lover 58, good try. I don't know why you like to troll people or mess with people. You're not going to get on my skin. And I got to give a shout out for NL Piano for respectfully doing the right thing. As we have an exchange right here, as of course, he came and just called the Wii U a dog shit system, and I gotta give to his reply. You have message a no reply system. Please try the 1-800 number. And he said the Wii U sucks. Beep. And of course, I had to, I basically followed up on NL Piano's suggestion. I basically go there, and again, you didn't see me. I don't have to curse nobody out, nothing, because it's preference. Gamer 27. He thinks that the Wii U sucks. Hey, he thinks the Wii U sucks. What do I care what he thinks? What the Wii U sucks? That's his choice. He didn't buy the console. It's kind of weird that my channel's a Nintendo Centric console channel, but you come and still say, you guys got more time in the day than anybody else. That's kind of weird. Basically, the question, that was the same guy who asked the question over there. I hope he replies back, but I asked the question here. And most of the people were saying, as you can say, most people could say, hey, it was a civil debate. It wasn't crazy. Great discussion, Liger. None, it was a chill, like I said, civil, mature than I thought. A lot of people thought we were being crazy. No, if you listen to my podcast, I let people talk. I don't want to, if anybody has a problem and you want to do a one-on-one with me, that's contested to what I'm going to talk about, let's do it. I have no problem with that. Just you be courteous to me, I'll be courteous to you. That's as much as it is. But that's the channel set up right there. So give me a second here. This part I do have to stop and can't share the screen for basically because I can't let you guys see the people's emails. That'll be wrong. So I have basically Stephanie Legray, who is a part of Ubisoft's one of Ubisoft dev team that I know. She worked on us with Red Steel 2. I sent the video to one of her, and she basically emailed me back saying that one, this was a cool debate. Person was seeing your excuse me, let me just bring the screen up more better. Sorry. All right. It was a cool debate. The other person seeing what you're talking about, you came across not as a bad person. It was a civil debate. But I think this OJ person doesn't understand basic business. Now she's a programmer, not a business person, but that's what she brought up. Next person, Natalie Gordon, worked on the team for where we worked on for the Need for Speed Carbon. Wow, this was enlightening to figure out how gamers are today. He rather the company lose profits just to make him happy. And we wonder why the gaming industry is what it is today. That's her reply. Then we have Simon Rogers. Because again, these are people, check it out, who work for Square Enix Japan. He worked for Europe, but he went over there in Japan. I met him and talked to him and stuff like that, saying that he thought that the amiibos were excuse me. He thought that amiibos were made as a reaction, which that's basically why I got that talk to say that it was a reaction. He doesn't understand that business takes a long time to set up these deals. Is again, who might argue is certain things. Hiroshi Saiba, he works for Platinum Games. This is crazy how these gamers think these days. Now that was a civil talk that you had, but he brought up that we should lose money to make him happy. And you already know this, blank, 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 which is Liger, because I'm not going to say her name, that we had gamers threatening our people because we didn't bring our game for Nintendo to their system. And he has, and I've talked about this, of course, the gamers threatened the developer's life for Bayonetta 2 because he wasn't coming over to their platform. And you want to know why, as he said, you want to know why how the game industry is today. So, and that's the guy from Platinum. They have Michael Arcel, as you know him. He's the head producer for Rayman Raven Legends, and you know he was very, very adamant of how the Ubisoft did Nintendo wrong. And so in this regard, he was like, so his reply, one of his email reply was, so we should basically, sorry. Yeah. His thing is down a little low. Okay. So we should basically just give in and be whores to the publishers all the time, unless we are in a contract. I was not happy that Nintendo contract was broken with Raven Rabbids. As you know, again, Liger, can't say my name, but Liger, that I was out forward about how Ubisoft publishing team told us what we had to do. So he's saying that it's funny that Suda51 still has a grudge all this time for Ubisoft. I still have a grudge with Ubisoft. Again, this is Michael Arcel talking about this. When your name is basically your selling point of running a game or making a game, you don't want it to be defamed with a bad project. So yes, we will keep that grudge, even if the money's there, because we do not want future aspects of our business to be opportunity. Well, sorry. to be out of the way, kind of like it, basically his opportunities. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's basically simple. That's what I was trying to bring out. Thank you for sharing this video. You know, most of the people like, you know, seeing stuff like that, pretty cool. Then, of course, I have my, you know, I have my friend who helps give me some of the stuff that you've seen on my site, of course, Kenji. You know, shout outs again. You know, he does it. He works for Nintendo R&D. He's basically, his reply is, "Wow, the industry is gonna fall because of people who think like this. They don't have the business sense. They want everything has been entitled. They want everything their way, not knowing how it works on the scene. And as you have said many times, yeah, Liger, I gotta, when I'm reading stuff, I gotta remember, I gotta say that. I said my name. Sorry. Time. We do not force them to buy any of our products." Amen, Kenji. Amen. Of course, that's my point of saying you have the ultimate option to buy whatever you want to buy. Nobody's holding you back. So it's crazy. And these are people from all angles, like Platinum, EA, Ubisoft, Square. I haven't gotten all the emails back from my colleagues because they're busy people. But that's just a synopsis, a tasting of what it is. Now, I'm going to do, I'll say this. Again, I see one question already. So again, the question app is open. If you heard anything that you want to ask questions about, or from the debate itself from far back when you heard, please put it in. Ask your question now. I will gladly answer it to the best of my knowledge. Let's put it that way, because unlike other people, if I don't know the facts, I will say I don't know. Sorry. I will say I don't know. So, okay, the question app is open. You could put your questions there, answer it. Now, I'll end it with this. Francis, I don't know if you're listening, or you could, like I said, you could take this video, response, whatever. I don't know if you're listening, right? But seriously, I have nothing against you, and I wish you the best of luck in running your website and doing stuff. Now, I have kind of a gripe that, you know, you do take a lot of, you do like do rumor sites and stuff like that. I give you props, as I told you about your video, your review on Pokken tournament. It was a good review. I ain't gonna be, like I say, I'm not gonna be negative to people. I don't put hatred to a certain degree. So I give you props when you do props. I do think that you don't need to be a rumor mill or keep on perpetuating rumors without basis facts. You asked about I should do facts and show stuff. I showed you something, and I have no problem with that. I have no problem showing facts, talk about facts. But I think that's gonna lead you down a certain route. Now, you don't have to take my advice at all. That one is just like this is my opinion onto your website and stuff. Because remember, well, not even remember, I basically subscribed to your YouTube page because you was talking about we have to game media need to be straight. They need to be in the up and tell the true facts. That video that you had is what made me sub to your channel, and then I sub to playeressence.com. And I have these things back and forth. I could show anybody. I mean, we have back and forth. Some was a little contested, but I leave it alone. Like I said, that one, you know, that would show nobody no light. But not only that, but you had some parts where we were helping out each other in a way. Like you put up a link, I say, hey, the link, that hyperlink is not working, or that video that you put to the story is not the right video. And you thank me, and I say I was trying to help you out. Now you had somebody like me who was in the industry, who traveled to these companies, who talked to the developers, who talked some stuff. And if you watch my channel, I have debunked a lot of rumors, really, because people keep on asking certain questions, and you got debunked. You could have had if mutually you could have had somebody to help you out, you know, on that part of the, you know, to help you out with your website, because you have an inside source. Not really inside, but a source to say, hey, bounce off the idea, and it could have been be more beneficial to you. So it is what it is. I wish that it was on different terms, but again, I have no problem with you, sir. I have no disrespect for you. Like I said, you came on. We didn't argue. We didn't bitch. We didn't groan. We handled it as cool as we could have, and I have mad respects for that. I said that. So if you're gonna keep on doing what you have to do, you do what you have to do, sir. And that's basically my basic gripe is the rumors. Nothing's factual. If you try to hit me with the whole "I need facts," well, I need facts for some of this stuff, and again, some of the stuff I've debunked before. That's all. That's my biggest gripe. That's the biggest gripe for me to you. You basically taking other studios, other things, whatever, and put it out there. And you know what? Again, I mean, Huffington Post does the exact same thing. Hell, Fox and MSNBC, CNN, everybody does the same thing because they spin and do other stuff. That's why Nintendo did it. That's why Iwata smartly did a Nintendo Direct. So people don't. So people don't really, so people don't spin their story because again, when the financial report came out, everybody said, "Oh, they lost." I have a video about it on my channel, of course. Everybody, friends, "Oh, well, this is bad. Nintendo's gonna suck." Blah blah blah. But they did not look the operational cost that if everything goes still to the end, which is coming up in March, they make a surplus. Even the Wall Street Journal was wrong about that, and they are a financial paper. So spin. This is what's going. Clickbait. Spin stories. That's what's going on, and I would never perpetuate hype for nobody. That's just who I am. I've got a video about that too. I got all these topics I'm talking about. I have a video on my channel about this stuff. I hope people who are listening who go back to my past videos and check out what I've said. I've not hyped anybody up. I've not pushed anybody wrong. I've not said anything that was on factual basis. And the one thing I said in the video, which I will give it its own twist, was the first party thing with PlayStation. I was factually wrong on it, and I will correct that because in the context I was right, but factually by itself I was wrong. So I will tell the whole story about that now that I did everything. But as a company, there's a thin line between, as you know, we need to provide customers out there what they want. Yes, you have to give them a product, but I have to have a profit margin to make profit, because if I can't staying, then why would I give it to free? Why would I give it free? I'm sorry. I'm a business. I have to make money, just like you have to make money with doing your website and get people to go there to get the views and the ad revenues and everything. Now, that's one thing I'm happy I never have to worry about ad revenues for any of my sources that I have on my stuff. But again, it's just that I want people out there to understand that y'all crest is going to be falling at E3 2016. Just get prepared for that. If the NX is if the NX is a home system, then it's a home system. I do not know what it is. When I went to over there, I saw what I saw. I've said it many times in past videos. If it is, it is, and that. And my thing to anybody out there, be wary about the third parties coming to the NX. If the NX is a home console, you should be going there you should be going to buy a Nintendo console for a Nintendo game. The third parties are a bonus. That's the way it should set out to be. I mean, I buy. There's a reason why you buy. That's why I said preference. That's why I made that joke when I saw, that YouTuber said what he said. It's preference. You buy. If it wasn't for preference, you wouldn't buy the car that you buy, or the cereal that you eat, or the shampoo you put in your head, or the headphones you got in your ear, the car that you buy. All that stuff is because of preference. That's what drives the market. Sad, but people who think that preference is not a big thing when it comes to, then you don't understand how to make money in a mass-produced product economy, and you should not really be talking as much as you should be. And that's basically to that certain commenter how to talk about. Now it's kind of funny. Everybody was short thrifting. Again, you will go to this comment. The link for his comment section and my comment section are in the description box. You go ahead and check it out. Give him views. I don't care. He wants to get his little money up. I don't get money for my reviews for my videos, but you will see the difference between the comment section and stuff like that. And most of the short comment answers was good podcast. It was civil, blah blah blah. There was I'm a fanboy. I'm a Nintendo fanboy. They always blah, you know. So it was just, you know, even though I emphasized many times that I'm talking about all three companies. They need to do great. Microsoft right now is going on a big change because since 2013, the shareholders wanted to cut the Xbox division because they're not making money. They're losing money. So it's kind of surprising to see many people like, oh, Xbox is going back to the Windows. They've been that idea, going back to what we were saying about that idea has been in works since 2013 because they had to find a way because they're not making profits. That's the major point. If you're not making money, oh man, why would I wake up in the morning if I'm not gonna make money to do that? There's a thin line between consumer and a customer, and I have to treat you well so you will come back and buy the product, but I can't give you everything you want because you're just one customer. What you like, the other person don't like, and that's why the preferencing came in Real Gamer 27. I give you what you want, then 15 million of people don't like what I give you, and I'm not gonna do a custom job which costs more money. You take what I give you, or you don't buy what I give you. Simple, easy, plain. Don't buy my system. If I'm talking about every game system, don't buy my system if I didn't think with you. Well, that's unlike consumers. No, I'm more consumed because I got millions of people I have to allocate to, not just one single gamer. And I wish people could understand that. But the 8th generation is what it is right now because people don't do that. So it is what it is. So with that regard, again, as I say, Francis, I have mad respect for you, son. Do what you have to do. Take care of your family. Do what you have to do. Do your hustle. But I accept you because of the up and up, and I hope that you keep certain things on up and up. That's all I'm saying. Keep things in the up and up. So right now I got questions coming in. So again, yeah, people, if you got questions, you can ask them now, and I'll be answering them. So with that said, let's go to the question app. All right. Dragon Sword 15. President Commissioner mentioned something about TV anime. Do you wonder if that could mean something big? For me, I would really be pleased if they're a new audience, older audience focus IP. Nintendo announces, if ever announced probably at E3, yeah, is involved with that. It's up to them. That question is up to Nintendo to do that. Now the TV stuff, like you said, we've been talking about that for years. We have to find the right studio. I mean, look at that. I mean, if right now Nintendo has found a couple of good studios to do certain projects with. It's up in the works on how to do things. That's the next thing. Shout outs to GVGIU or the Game Idea guy. We talked about that. Like they should have their own Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll on the next Nintendo platform. Or they could do like the Kid Icarus shorts. They could do that as their own thing, or the Pikmin movies, or a Fire Emblem movie, or all that stuff, and Nintendo will make more money using the IP the right way. So I am 100%. I am 100% with that, and. You know what? If Nintendo wants to do a mature game, I mean, we have mature games, adult games on our thing. If you want an adult IP, I don't know if they'll do that because that's not their. Again, 60% of the people, 60% of Nintendo's profit comes from families, so they're not gonna alienate too much of their thing. Can they do it? Yes, they should. I think a lot of people think they should do that. I think they should, but it's up to them to do that. I don't think they will no time soon because again, their bread and butter is still buying up their games without no problems. Just like everybody said, well, Mario Party 10 sucks. Well, it's all over 1.6 million. Oh, home design sucks. Well, it's so whatever. Are we gonna see what Amiibo Festival sell? Are we gonna see all Mario tennis sells? We're gonna see all that stuff at the end of the year and see how that works out. So but we'll see what happened at E3. Let's hope for the best. All right, let's go to our next question here. Jacob Snake asked, put it up. What do you want to see in the NX? Me personally, I just want exclusive since I already have a PC for multiplayer and something unique like gamepad, motion controls, etc. On my channel, Jacob, I have it's basically an early video. This is when I first came onto this side of YouTube. Talking about what I want in Nintendo's home console. This is even before Iwata even said the NX in their briefing of 2014. So I kind of have that stated in that regard, but I'll give you a quick rundown. Basically, this is what I want. I'll let Nintendo do what I have to do, but this is what I want in the NX. If it's a home console, I want them to have backwards capability to go play games. I want them to make sure that physical disc or physical media could still work without installing. I want them, which is games. I want them to have the features that some of the other people ask, like Francis asks about the online stuff. I hope they have that. And if it's something that you got to pay for, hope they could do it for cheap. I don't think they could do it for free because again, they lose a lot of money on a Miiverse because it's a free app, it's a free thing. But to monitor that thing 24/7 in different countries, different languages, yeah, they're losing money on that. They lose millions of dollars on that itself. So I think they should put up that's a consumer thing right there, Francis. And even though you said that it's cool, but it should be more. I agree with you. There should be more too. But that's why I asked you if you have no problem being a subscription based. I hope they could do it at a nice affordable price, $20, $29 again. And if people don't want to buy it like me, if I just like the free online how the Wii U is, then I don't have to buy it. But the people who want it, you pay the money and you be happy. But the controllers again. I mean, the Wii U is the thing that killed me is Jacob. You brought up a point that I should have hit in this debate as well too. The Wii U is if you look at it objectively, it's the most consumer product friendly product out of the three consoles. Why? Because the infrastructure is not the best, but the internet security is by far the best. I told you about how the credit card situation worked out. You got to hack the system to get credit information. That's good. That protects the consumer. You have the options to add any hard drive to your system. That's the consumer's option. Instead of giving them something expensive and it broke or whatever, it don't work. That's the consumer option. They get the option that when you buy their games, you put it in the console. You don't have to install nothing. You bought your game, you go home, you're ready for this game. You can play the full game with no problems the second you put it into your console. That's a consumer option. You don't like motion controls. You think some things are gimmick, which is everything. Gimmick has gotten this bad connotation, but everything has gimmicks, of course. But everybody after this, everybody has this. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm watching my sister playing Smash Brothers for a second. I lost my train of thought for a second. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, consume. You don't like the controls, and Francis put this many times. He has a video on his channel talking about when we make it HD. When we make HD has the controller. You call it has he likes it with a pro controller. Well, they gave you the option to have a pro controller. You want to buy. but you want it to be flipped by the gamepad. But I got the cool controller. No, then they tend to put their things that fail or get the least amount of support are how should I say this? Are peripherals. PlayStation VR is going to be. We'll see what happens in October. But the Move, the Connect, everything that was not part of the system because the game was whining about price, whatever, they ultimately didn't get support and they failed. But again, Nintendo gave you the ultimate option of you could use your remote. You could use your remote and nunchuck. You could use your Wii Pro controller. You could use your Wii controller. You could use the gamepad. You could use the 3D. They gave you the option. That's consumer right there. If you don't like, and you feel this is better, hey, get something from Nintendo that has the quality to work, not like a third-party controller, but it works and you're good. The Wii U Pro controller, you're right. It's a great controller. Most of the games my sister plays with all the games with the Wii Pro controller, while I use the gamepad for Xenoblade Chronicle X. While I use the gamepad for a lot of stuff, she uses the Pro controller. That's the option right there. She uses that. I use the other one. That's consumer based. You can use the internet on your gamepad, everything for free. That's consumer based. You have a plethora of games that you could play on the console. First party, second party, third party. Not a lot of third party. I'll agree with that. But there are third party games like Batman. Like I said, I get my list of Batman Armored Edition and Need for Speed and Wadea Sky Soldier and all this stuff. I mean, those games are there. But I bought some cool indie games: Freedom Planet, Typo Man, DuckTales, Guacamelee, and of course I played some old Nintendo favorites: Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Trilogy. Consumer option again. It's all on one console, and you ain't gotta pay crazy amounts of money or go look for anything. It's right there. All that together I could make it the most consumer option out of all three. But thank you, Jacob. I mean, I didn't mean to go there, but the majority, the main thing is this. To finish up your question, Jacob, is this: I just want the games. I don't care for feature. This is my opinion again. I don't care for features. My opinion doesn't reflect everybody, of course, but I don't care for features. If Nintendo wants to put a gimmick, as people would say, quote unquote, as a bad thing in their console, let them do it. It's their manufacturer. I have the choice to buy it or not buy it, of course. But pick up the game. All I want is the games. I want the next Mario Kart. I want the next Smash Brothers. I want the next Kid Icarus. I want this and that, whatever. The next Metroid, whatever comes out. Next this, the next that. Just the games. That's what made me buy the console. The games. I'm sorry, it's nothing else. It's cool things that Nintendo did that I like the Wii and Nunchuck. I can't play first-person shooters without that no more. Why? Because that thing is good. Like Francis talked about the Zelda with the gamepad. I like gamepad. I have a 4K. Again, it's in the video, but I have a 4K TV screen. It upres the Zelda Twilight Princess, the Wii version. And you know what? When it comes time, that's the game I want to play again. I'll play the HD version just to get a feel for it. But my preference, of course, is the nunchuck remote. So it's just the games. Let's have the games, Jake. That's what I want. If the NX is a home console, that's all I want. Games or a mobile console. All I want is the games, Jacob. That's it. And a lot of people are going to be questioning, like I said, again, if everybody's forcing this rumor about the NX going to be coming out this year, then it can't be a certain thing. And if it's a console or whatever, then it's going to fit dead on arrival. And again, Nintendo will learn from that thing. Like I said, I am cool with saying, hey, if you don't hey, you didn't like Splatoon, don't buy it. Well, don't you want Nintendo to you don't want them to fail? No, I don't want Nintendo to fail. But if they do something stupid and you say you don't want to buy it, then what can I do to you? What can I say to you? You say you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. That's why when you saw the troll, I was surprised. Like, dude, You don't like the Wii U, but you still come to my channel, you know, on this Nintendo Century channel and say stuff like that. It's weird. That's a weird life you live, dude. I don't do that to other people. I got too much things in real life to worry about. But again, thank you, Jacob Snake, about that question. All right. Let me see. We have again, we have, like I say, anybody have questions? The question app is open. And I'm gonna also check the usual suspects, because sometimes people like put it in the events page. Some people will put it on the YouTube page, all over the place to get questions. And it's about 9:45 right now, so I'll give it about the 15 minutes. If any more questions come up, that I'll answer them. So I'll refresh. Okay, I got a couple more. So okay, let's go to Fruity Puncher. He's basically asking, what games are you currently playing right now? Well, if you ask my sister, she's playing Smash Brothers right now. I'm looking at it. But the game I'm playing right now that's pulling me in is Project Cross Zone 2. I have Pokken tournament coming up. I'll play. I'm a dib dab in that. Fire Emblem, of course, that's the next big RPG I'm gonna pull in. I still gotta finish the Xenoblade Chronicles X, the American version, of course. But Project Cross Zone has pulled me in. That is, if that RPG, the for people out there, the writing in that game is awesome. I like the game, but the writing in the game is awesome. And spoiler alert. Whoever, I gotta find out who wrote the story. I gotta find out who wrote the story for. Let me see if I can find it quickly, and go through my contacts and see if I can find who wrote the story for that. Because who wrote that story for that? Mostly, the story with Project Cross Zone 2 is Nintendo. Microsoft is the people who develop the game, but Namco Bandai is the publisher. So they asked Nintendo to make a game, and they published it. So there's, I mean, that could happen too. And basically, it did happen. Nintendo made a game for other company. And you know what? Because it sold the last time. Let me see. That is quick. And that. Okay, let me check you out here. Oh, he's also the designer. Oh, wow. So Soshio Monazui, he's the one who wrote the story, and he's also the game designer. Wow, good job. Because he put some digs in the game. If you read the story of that game, the quick whips between franchises in this game is just too funny. It is just too funny. Holy crap. Oh, excuse me. It's just too. It's just, oh man, it's so funny. Because it's we call it. How should I say this? One of the parts of the story, they're on a spot where they're playing video games, right? And it was the Yakuza members, and they asked the Yakuza members, "Hey, oh man, these games are awesome," and they're playing arcade classic games. He said, "Why don't you try the new stuff?" Nah, modern games today are broken. That's breaking the fourth wall in a way that they know they took a quick jab like that in the game. Wow, and they do several quick jabs in the game. And looking at look at some information here through all this stuff to Japan. Give me otakustudy.com and the Brave New World. Also Famitsu. I'm looking at some stuff here on my screen. Huh. They're talking right now, sales are not bad. Now the only thing about this game I don't like is the microtransactions. again, I'm gonna do a review about this video with maybe with my sister Kitty. She has a video about it, talking about it, but a full review maybe and talk more about it and stuff like that. And then how should I say it? The first one did very well, way succeeded, just like Hyrule Warriors and everything, way succeeded what it's supposed to do. This one right now is selling very well as well too, so that's good. That's good to hear. And it's funny, they have looking at Famitsu, they had an interview talking to Hideki Kamiya, because one thing about Hideki is that he doesn't like to do a lot of sequels. He likes the challenge. So they asked him, hey, would he in Famitsu, they asked him, would he be happy to take on Project Cross Zone 3? Now, if they do that, oh my God, it'll be crazy. He basically said, on his own terms, I would like to do it. So, hey, people, buy this game. I'm joking. Buy what you want, okay? Buy what you like. I'm just reading this right here in Japanese and all on Famitsu. That's cool. I hope this happens. Oh man, that's awesome. If the Project Cross Zone 3, I will welcome it, sir. I will welcome it. So let me go back to. Let me see. So, yeah. So, look. So that's the game that's hooking me right now. Fruity Puncher. Let me see. You asked Fruity Puncher again. Speaking of the podcast, will you sneak into the OLG podcast? Not tonight. I wanted to make sure I set this up to a certain way. So, Doc, I already said that I was gonna make it. So I'll catch up with him next time, hopefully. So, nope. Sorry about that. Fruity Puncher. I'm not into that. I'm not gonna get to that one. Let's see. I got Nova Region. I got here late, but what is your opinion on the current state of gaming journalism? Do you think consumers are well served? Gaming journalism really is not doing a good job. They're not. Again, I know the people say that. I know people that say it's unbiased. You can't be unbiased, and you really can't be. There's no such thing as unbiased. That's just like a unicorn. Don't exist. Everybody has biases, but the problem is though, because ad revenue and things are getting expensive to do things now, and technology and money and everything, their biases is coming through their reviews. Like I've said this many times before. Go to the reviews of these games. Read the reviews, not just look at the number. Read the reviews, and what you read cannot make that number be what it is. It's very funny. Sometimes the same reviewer is saying something about this is frustrating and this sucks, and he gives it like a 5 or a 6. But he goes to another game and he said the exact same thing. The shooting mechanic sucks. It's frustrating. I don't like it. And he gives that game an 8 or 8.5. We're like, what? You said the exact same thing. You gave 2 different games. And of course, they don't report everything. They spin stories. Like I said, NBC is one of the things. As he brought up the whole, Jose Altera. Like, I listen to NBC just to know what's going on. But they have showed that they are biased beyond a shadow of a doubt with some of their things. You cannot say, I don't want to go into the remote to play my backwards game, but you're gonna pay $15 to play a game that you don't have to pay for, or that's 15 seconds when you have to wait 45, 2, 3, 4 hours depending on your internet to play your game that you just bought today on the console. Or here goes to another thing, to the consumer thing, Francis. The always online, the Division and all them, and Street Fighter and always online. I have great internet, but it doesn't mean it's gonna be super. It's not gonna be super awesome all the time. I'm sorry. And if I have people, I have many people in my house many times, and it lags down, then they drop me. I am not gonna buy an always online game. I can tell you that right now. If the future gets to a point, I have more that again. Katie. Don't we have like that closet behind us right now? Have like what, hundreds of 3DS games?
Yeah.
We have hundreds of 3DS games. Huh?
Like shelves and shelves.
What you said?
Shelves and shelves of DS games.
We have shells of DS games, as she just said. We don't. We have enough replayability to go play those games again, and not to be always online. Sorry, I'm not doing that. Y'all want to go ahead and do that? Go right ahead. Because when the servers get shut down or when something's not working, then I don't know what you're gonna do. No. So again, it's funny and like again, and it's just biased all the way and over. You know that they're not serving the customers well because Evolve came out. They did not say not a lick about the crazy DLC in Evolve, but they bashed about the bashed Splatoon about the no voice chat. Funny. And the DLC was $260 worth of DLC for the game, while a voice chat you could do anything else. Even if again, I don't know if it's against that, but it's just weird. They don't the way that they pick and choose how to dissect things is funny. It is so funny. So no, they do not serve the public well. Do they give information? Yes, but you yourself have to cipher a lot of stuff. How most of the times they don't even, as Francis asked me, they don't even give you the sources. They do not even give you sources. It's one of my videos I said about that. So it is what it is. I don't think so, man. You're gonna have to waste your own. You have to waste your pile of water to find out what's good or what's a good solid rumor. If the rumor is, it has has a little smoke, has a little fire to be something. But other than that, you're gonna have to clear through a lot of rumors to get what you want out of it. And sometimes they're factually wrong because again, how the Wall Street Journal, it's not a gaming company, it's not a gaming magazine newspaper, it's a business magazine, but did not talk about a surplus for the Nintendo financials. That's a fail in my eyes as a business person. But again, that was a good question, Over. Thank you. Let me see. Fruity Puncher again. He's like, he's laughing his ass off. Man, you're making me want to pick up a game to get that point. I'm thinking stuff about Project Crossover 2. Hey, dude, they have demos. If you're the 3DS, they have both demos. Play it and see if you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I understand it. And then what we do, and then later on, whatever, we might do a spoiler cast or something. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I would never force people to buy those games. Really. Did you hear this story that I just read from Itsu?
No.
If this game sells well, they were talking to Hideki Kamiya to do a Project Crossover 3.
I said that on my video, didn't I?
Did you send your video too?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is?
It's either if it sells well or if people want another one, he'll do another one.
Which will be, well, again, he didn't do these two, the first two. So it'll be cool for him. No. Just asking.
Yeah.
You finished the game, right?
No.
Oh, you ain't beat it yet?
No.
I thought you don't beat with all the time you got with that game.
I know. Where are you?
I'm at chapter 23.
Yeah, wait, I think you're really next to me.
I'm at the part where you had to get the gold and silver.
Yeah, you're one chapter behind me.
Okay, so I caught up with you. Well, you all play Fire Emblem.
I'm good.
Huh?
I'm gonna finish Project Crossover first before I continue Fire Emblem.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna buy the other paths.
Okay. Yeah, but like I said, it's a cool game, Fruity Punch. Sorry about that. I was just talking to my sister because right now she's playing Mario Kart. So, she went from Smash Brothers to Mario Kart.
Because the Wii U's cool.
Say that again?
Because the Wii U's cool.
She said because the Wii U's cool. What is your favorite project? I have Project Crossover 2, but Xenocrack ain't letting me loose. Yeah, you're right. Like I said, I gotta finish my part 2, Fruity Puncher. You're right about that. Um, I'll ask this to her too. What is your favorite pair in Crosszone so far?
The Yakuza unit.
The Yakuza unit.
Yep.
Okay, so Katie says her favorite is the Yakuza unit. For me, it's hard because I love Renji and Jamun
Love them too.
because their moves are powerful. That's why I like them.
Yep.
I mean, they're powerful. They have all the attacks that you could do. You know.
They don't have a shield break and a block break though.
No, you're right. They don't. But if you pair somebody with them,
Yeah, right now Sagata's with them, so
or you could do Hayachi. His first move always breaks the shield.
Heihachi doesn't.
Not for you.
Nope.
He does it for me. Every time I use him, he breaks the shield.
He wastes my time. That's what he does.
Wow. Well, there you go. Two different play styles then, because he always breaks the shield when I'm using.
Don't get me wrong. I love the Tekken unit with all the family members, but I wish they had a block break. So
That's kind of weird. Maybe we gotta show each other that because every time I use Heihachi, he always breaks the shield.
it might depend on the enemy that you use. It doesn't
I've used him even on Saya, and he breaks the shield.
do work for me.
Huh?
Don't work for me.
Wow, that's weird. But okay, so me is basically Renji, and I like to use Chong-Li and I forgot her name again.
Oh yeah, the Darkstalker unit.
You like the Dark Stalker unit?
Yes.
Okay, I like Chong-Li and the girl from Tekken who switched partners now. I forgot her name.
Indeed.
And pair her up with Axel from Shooter Range. That is a cool combo unit, man. I like that.
Hmm.
So we have that. Let me see. Nova region again.
Those three Gresham.
Well, you know what? If you're still listening to Fruity Puncher, what is your favorite unit? You could basically reply back quickly. You can. I'll just say it. So we have Nova region. Our next question. Nintendo did a surprising thing in promoting
Oh no, please.
promoting Pokken tournament by
Okay.
reaching out to smaller YouTubes and providing them with review copies. Do you see this as an evolution of their partnership program with their creators? Yeah, I see. Look, right now I'm watching another video. Right, I'm watching another person who's going through a nasty battle with the fair use thing, and that's why I don't want to get into that as a topic. And I see some YouTubers, well, it's a fair use. No, when you take that person's and people's taking his full content and taking it and doing some stuff to it. I'm like, and you don't link his channel. You don't talk about the stuff. You talk negative about the person. So yeah, and he's going through the curses and stuff like that. I'm sorry. I'm with the copyright laws in that one. If I put enough effort into something, because again, if that happens to the other side, they will be angry about that. That's why for this channel, when I take people's, I'm not gonna deny it. When I use people other content and stuff, I'm not making money off of it. And I would tell you, hey, I got it from here or whatever. I'm not making the money off of it because this channel is just basically for fun. But that is a good evolution that they're doing. And I'm happy. I mean, they were doing that in the past, but they're doing it more with smaller YouTubers, like you just said. And technically speaking, they have given us free games and stuff, right? And amiibos and stuff like that. I mean, Nintendo, hell, if you shoot Kenji.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to, I could pimp them out myself too, more than anything. But we got our we got our games and everything. This is a spoiler. Anybody's listening? You know what? You know the Ray One from Xenoblade Chronicles.
The what?
The Ray One. The scale.
What about it?
There's a there's a transformable figurine, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And he's gonna send one to us.
Oh my gosh.
So we're gonna get a Transformer Xenoblade Chronicles scale model, and it's gonna be boss, son. It's gonna be boss, huh?
No, not you.
Okay. But no, Nova, you're right. It's a good. They're doing good stuff. I'm happy that they're reaching out to smaller YouTubers, and of course, the big YouTubers again. They, like Jay Wiz was getting got an interview, and same thing with the Completionists. They got interviews and stuff. And the Treehouse is doing a great job of reaching out to all these other people like Lamar Wilson and the Black Nerd Comedy. And good. That's what you're supposed to do, and I'm happy that they're doing it that way. And that's a great thing that they're doing that. So reach out to the consumers, and help them out and promote their channel. They make money, they tend to make money, and we all happy. Kumbaya, people, kumbaya. Let's see. We have let's see. Jacob Snake asks, "What's your favorite game project you have worked on?" Red Steel 2. No ifs, ands, or but. I mean, Need for Speed Carbon was second, and I love the FIFA World Cup 2006, but Red Steel 2, favorite, bar none. Because there's no game like that. It's a unique game, and I enjoy messing with that game. Love that game. Red Steel 2. That's my favorite project, Jacob Snake, that I worked on, and I had fun and I enjoyed it. Okay, so 40 points to basically reply back. I'm looking forward to Lucina and Crumb because he's not gotten far in the game. Okay, hey. They're not bad as well, too. And Hayachi's awesome in the demo for Project Cross Zone 2. Yep, he is. And well, basically, 3 points like, wow, you guys are getting a scale from Nintendo, or whatever. My friend at Nintendo. Well, like I said, it's a mutual business thing. We talk back and forth, but you can get the scale too. It will go on sale in June. You have to spend a little pretty penny to get it, but you can get it. It'll be available in June, and you get it and buy it if you want it. It's a transformable scale. It could go into the car mode, which is or the vehicle mode, which is awesome. So it's one of those things that I am, like I said, the GameCube that I have, luck. The Amiibos I have, luck. That's when you have a good friends and stuff like that. And like I said, shout out to Kenji. Thank you, man. And like I said, I've done some stuff for him too. That's pretty cool, and we enjoy each other's conversation, and that's why I came on here. Like I said, I met cool people on this website that we had Splatoon battles, Mario Kart races. Juice is loose. Shout outs to him on that, Terminator Juice. But also, Double M and SK Massive and Doc and the Good Shepherd. We played Splatoon and Smash Brothers and Cage Anime and all that stuff. Enjoying the game. That's cool. We like I said, we're not online centric, really, but we enjoy good games now and then still. So I'm just laughing at my sister. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Like I said, it's what it is. You dig? But yeah, you could be able to check. Like I said, you could go and it'll be available in Japan. I will put up the manufacturer who's making it, and if you want it, like I said, it should be about $80-something if you want it for it, because you're gonna have to do shipping and customs and stuff to ship it from Japan. I don't think they'll do anything in America just because of the damn child law thing of little parts breaking off and it could be consumed and blah blah blah. But it's up to them how they do it. But let me see any more questions, because I did say 50 minutes. I already passed over that mark. Let me see. Oh, here's from YZ, basically asking. I looked at the comment section, and it's kind of weird how you're right that a lot of people brought up a lot of issues in your comment section, but in Francis' comment section, there are a lot of the Nintendo fanboy talk and that we don't want to change the stuff. Like, hey, it's like I said, he has a bigger fan base than me, and like I said, it is where it is, and that's why I have some emails of people talking about the fan base, but I don't need to. I think the emails I read off is good enough. Let's see who else we got. We got Jacob Snake again. Hopefully, Bayonetta 3 comes in for Project Crossover 3. Well, I hope. Like I said, Project Crossover 3. I hope it comes. Bayonetta 3. I hope it comes. Like I say, now, of course, the people who owns the. I think, like I said, if it sells well, we'll get a Project Crossover 3. I would love to have a Project Crossover 3. Just as I would love to have Bayonetta, but it's up to Sega. It is up to Sega to do that, and I have no. It's up to Sega to because they own the IP. Just like it's up to Sega. Oh, hope Bayonetta comes in Project Crossover 3. Yeah, that would be cool. She and John, and maybe wrote down as a extra character, right?
If Rodon, that's an instant buy.
My sister said if Rodon's in there, it's an instant buy. But no, like put John and her as a unit, and then Rodon as a solo unit.
Yeah, totally.
That would be awesome. I gotta pass that on to some people in Platinum if they ever do the game. So you're right, Jacob. But it's up to the IP. I hope the game sells well. I hope Sega use the IP and say, "Hey, Nintendo, yes, we want to Bayonetta 3. Hey, huh? You say something? Okay, stuff like that." And it is what it is. Jacob asks, do you think Bayonetta 3 will happen? Do you think Platinum will sell Bayonetta IP to Nintendo? No, Sega owns the IP, Jacob. Sega owns the IP, not Nintendo. Not Platinum Games. Platinum Games don't own any game that they make. They don't own the IPs. Vanquish is Sega. I forgot the Mad World is Sega. Anarchy Reigns is Sega. Okami's Capcom. Devil May Cry is Capcom. Wonderful 101 is Nintendo. Transformers is Activision through Hasbro. Same thing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out right now. Nair is Square. Scalebound is Microsoft. They don't own the IPs. That's the sad part. They work hard on these games, but they don't own the IPs. They're a talented company. So it's up to Sega if they want to make a Bayonetta 3. They made money, but again, it's just how Sega right now is going through some financial problems as well too. So it's up to them to make money with the game, to say, hey, we want to because it was profitable for Nintendo, and Sega made a good amount of money as well too. So hopefully they do make. I mean, like I said, I want a Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 2 was awesome. 1 was good. 2 was awesome. 3 I'd like to have. Because they showed that they have the talent to make these games. And same thing with Project Crossover 3, like that. Just like I would love to have a Red Steel 2, and I know when he was 3. But again, it's depending on who owns the IP and who want to do the games. I mean, Suda 51 wants to do no more when he was 3, but he would have to swallow his tongue on pride and whatever to do with Ubisoft. And Ubisoft right now is going in trouble with Vivendi. So it's just all crazy. That's why I was trying to tell Francis that the gaming industry is not solid. We're losing franchises. I mean, we're losing studios. Studios are getting shut down. Publishers are getting less and less risky to take things. We're doing a lot more cookie paste games, and there are more broken games online, DLC, microtransactions. It's not looking good for the future. It really ain't. That was my whole point with the debate, really. And it kind of goes off to, like I said, I would love these games to happen, but you know what? I won't be crazy to go, a certain way. Now, in a certain way like that. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I got other questions, but I'm gonna wrap it up here because I said I had a long day today and I want to get some sleep. So shout outs to everybody out there for listening on my thoughts, and I hope again. I have no ill wills to Francis or playeressence, OG or playeressence, but I think I pointed out the reasons, some of your reasons. Like, I agree with some of your stuff, but I can 100% back up what I said about the reasons. Like my thoughts about the things that happened there. And I had people who watched. I had people who watched watched it without me saying anything. I based it, to all honesty, all I did was send them the video. I said, "Watch this video and reply." And they replied, and they said what they said. So it is what it is, man. I wish you the best of luck. Like I said, I'm just me and my sister. We do this thing for fun, just chit chatting on YouTube, whatever. It's cool. So that's about it. And maybe I have an interesting one-on-one that should be in the works coming up. I'll see how that works out with the person. If that person works out, then that'll be a next one-on-one talking about some issues. But again, I'm not gonna. You can see how I keep things civil. And also come more one-on-one, like just talking about gamers and stuff like that, like how I did with Mr. Red Fox and the Good Shepherd and Andre, because I have like J Femin and Double M and everybody else want to get into that. And I'm thinking I'm gonna do some called 1 and 2, but it'll be in the one-on-one playlist for 1 or 2 when I'll talk to, like, because those guys don't have a channel and I can't dig deep in that regard. I'll have like subscribers, like I'll take on 2 subscribers, ask them questions about the gaming industry, blah, blah, get their points on it, and then just take on 2 subscribers, and then so you could keep it going, the one-on-one series going that way. So it'll be 1 and 2, but it'll still be cool. And ask questions for subs if they want to be a part of it. Of course, that's on my terms, though. That I gotta ask you if you have the time to do it, because my schedule, since I'm hosting, I got more tighter schedule than you. And again, I won't ask you to do it if you don't have the schedule either. But that's how it work out. But thank you guys for giving me your ears and listening to what I have to say. And again, the debate is right there. You can listen to the debate and see how things work out. I was surprised that, like I said, it was impromptu. There were other things I could have, like I said, I could have hit Francis with some of his videos, because he talked about localization and how like the thing with Yoshi's Woolly World. You got to understand, and you gotta understand in Europe, the reason why the game, why certain games come to America and don't go to Europe or the thing. And I agree with him that they need to tightly knit things together. But there's 7 languages they have to turn on in Europe on one disc, and that's just crazy. You got to turn on Germany. You have to turn on German, other than English, German, French, Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, Italian. It just, different languages you got to put together. So, it is what it is. And like I said, I could have done more stuff like that, but I didn't do that. So I will let you guys know. I am gonna, like I said, as I said in the video, I will do a timestamp to talk about PlayStation's first party. That was the only thing I was wrong on, and I will tell you the true story behind it now that I found out more about it. So I'll tell you the true story about that in the upcoming podcast, kind of like this. And also, I'm gonna do it. I'll do the exact same thing with the second version of the downfall of why the 8th generation is downfall. And if the person comes through to do the one-on-one, I'll also be talking about. Mrs. T just put up a video. Now, I talked about it before Mrs. T put up his video, but I talked about this, about how people are whining and they don't know what the gamers want. This thing. So I would love to have Bayonetta 3. I'd love to have Project Cross Zone 2. I'd love to have Red Steel. But you know what? Because I know the circumstances, I'm not going to be crying about it. And I'm a big Metroid fan. And the Metroid came out is not what I want. Federation Force is not the game I'm looking forward for. But I mean, that I was looking forward for. But it came out. I'm going to give it a shot. And I will tell you honestly if the game is good or not in my discussion review things. But I'm not gonna say, oh man, I want a 2D Metroid. I want a 2D Metroid back to the old place, Fusion or Zero stuff like that. That's what I want. But I'm not gonna be crying about it if it don't come out. So gamers nowadays, yes. I mean, your gripe is understandable, but again, you have the option to buy or not buy. So, let me see. Jacob Snake say, "Thank you for answering my questions. A nice podcast. Keep up the good work." Hey man, thanks for listening, man. Give me your time and your ear, because I would like. I have no problem answering people's questions as honest as I can. And basically, Foodie Puncher, I would like to say, like, a thank you for being a very cool with us and being honest with us. Hey, I don't see. I don't have no, just like how no really asks about the whole thing. I don't have money stakes in this, so I don't have no time. I got no, uh, you know, how you say it. I don't have a horse in the game to try to make a BS to BS people. Again, that's why I said if I don't know something, I'll gladly tell you I don't know nothing, because I'm not gonna try to make up crap for people. So I will do a video about those are the videos coming up, and also I am gonna do a podcast something in the let me see in the future about localization, and you guys basically a Q&A podcast that you can ask questions, because I think people don't understand how localization works. Everybody's angry about this localization, this and this and that. So I'll do that as well in the future. Just keep an eye out for that. So let me see. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for tonight's podcast, and have a great time playing any video games with you and your sister. Hey, yep, we playing our video games, all right. No, Foodie Puncher say thank you for tonight's podcast and good night, and have a great time playing any video games with your sister. She said hi, Foodie Puncher. But with that said, as usual, guys, thank you all for giving me a time and ear. That podcast was something that I wanted to debate, really, in a way wanted to have. We see it both. You guys saw both sides. It's up to you to choose it. You could go there and comment as well too. You should go to his video and look at it, give him the views. I don't care. Comment in it too, because I've seen there's some spots in there where people arguing with him about certain things. So again, it is what it is. But with that said, you know the usual talk, people. Enjoy your night. Thank you for giving me your time, your ear, and your presence. There's no perfect game out there. What's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply play them games. Good night.